The G20 meeting to host some real powerful leaders across the globe. Here in Delhi, you have foreign secretaries who've been briefed, Council of Ministers today about the G20 preparations. The inside scoop on the preparations of G20 summit with India today. Here we know that the foreign secretaries have been briefed about the G20 preparations. They were all made to download G20 app. They were told about the courtesies to be extended when they receive dignitaries at the airport. They will have to use shuttle to reach the Bharat Mandapam for the gala dinner as to cause minimum inconvenience to common people. This is the advice given to the Council of Ministers only to ensure smooth sailing of the G20 summit. One knows that there are leaders from across the globe. Nearly 20 nations, all the powerful leaders will be descending in Delhi, and their welcome is important. It's got to be smooth, where you have the Foreign Secretary briefing the Council of Ministers on the preparations and how to go about it. Paulmi Saha joining us on the phone line for more on that. Paulmi, Council of Ministers asked to download the G20 app, how to extend courtesies, how to receive those dignitaries from the airport, to use a shuttle to reach the Bharat Mandapam for that gala dinner, so that the event itself goes smoothly without inconveniencing the normal public, the common man. Tell us more on the preps.
That's right. Foreign Secretary, in fact, held for the Council of Ministers. They were briefings that have been made in order to, of course, ensure that smoothly, of course, it begins tomorrow itself of US President Joe Biden, and then following that, the bilateral into that, the G20 leaders summit over the weekend. So it's weekend itself, and hence there was a briefing that was immediately asked at the briefing itself to download. Been prepared for both Android and iOS users the G20 India app, where basically all information, readily available information, has been put on that app, so you can in fact go there and find out more about the G20 and the various events that are happening around the G20. Where, how do you reach it, how do you reach the venue, etc., etc. All of those details are there. Also, what they were told is to basically ensure that they do not engage in any sort of VVIP culture, that they appear simple, that they in fact ensure that they use the shuttle which will be going to the Bharat Mandapam, so that there is a minimum inconvenience that is caused to those who are on the roads over the weekend. Remember that the media has also been asked to use a shuttle because much of the NDMC area will be, of course, monitored by Delhi police, the traffic police itself. So we're using a shuttle as well. The media will be using a shuttle from the JLN Stadium to Bharat Mandapam, and that's exactly what has been advised to the Council of Ministers, who in fact have been invited for the gala dinner on the evening of 9th of September that will be hosted by President Draupadi Murmu.
Right. Well, preparations are on in full swing. We also know that there are several traffic restrictions that have been put in place. Paulmi, if you could tell us, we believe that only and only essential services allowed to ply through those high secure zones. But if not, there are strict traffic restrictions imposed, and more importantly, some of the market areas around that venue may just be shut. Any word on that?
Well, yes, there are strict traffic restrictions that have been imposed, while the government, of course, is trying to ensure that there is minimum inconvenience that is caused to those who have businesses in the area. But those in the immediate vicinity of the venue for the summit will, of course, will bear the brunt of this program over the weekend. Of course, it's over the weekend, so business will be possibly on the lighter side. But yes, there will be a hit that, commuters might take, also those that have businesses in the area that might take as well. But as far as the traffic police is concerned, there was a briefing that was held just a short while ago. They've said that they're trying to do everything possible to ensure that there is least inconvenience that is caused to commuters on the day, and that's exactly why ministers have been told as well that when you arrive on the 9th of September evening for that gala dinner, make sure that you use the shuttle which will be plying between Bharat Mandapam and central Delhi itself, from the Lutyens area itself, so that you don't use your VVIP cars and clog the entire route and cause inconvenience to others.
All right, Paulamy. What we know is that the Prime Minister, of course, himself taking very keen interest in security arrangements to ensure that the G20 summit is smooth. Of course, this is a huge moment for India as you have global leaders, all the most powerful ones across the country, across the globe, who almost contribute to nearly 85% of the world's GDP, who will be in India. So it's really the India moment, this G20 summit. And for what we know, all the ministers are highly now sensitized about how to go about inviting those important guests. They've been specifically asked to download the G20 app. We believe S. Jaishankar has also given a presentation on the G20 summit.
Well, the Foreign Secretary, in fact, gave a presentation. In fact, details have been shared, PDF documents as to where you can find what on the app itself have been shared as well. And they're being widely circulated now by, of course, the Ministry of Information and Broadcasting, which is, of course, tasked with spreading the right kind of information so that misinformation doesn't circulate. So for the public as well, it is being circulated. The Delhi Traffic Police is obviously constantly updating people on, of course, their handle as well. Briefing was held just a short while ago as well to tell, of course, the people as to what sort of restrictions will be in place in the vicinity of the venue of the program, the summit, which will be held over the weekend. And, of course, in terms of airport movement as well, airlines, of course, there are flight cancellations that are happening. Airlines that do anticipate that there will be a lot of traffic restriction on the road, which might cause passengers a lot of inconvenience in terms of them reaching airport, already sending out messages to passengers and saying those flying in and out of Delhi between the 8th and the 11th of September, please plan ahead your travel to the airport. Ensure that you reach the airport on time, despite, of course, those traffic restrictions that will be in place. So make sure you account for that as you travel to the airport. But they're also offering, at least Air India, Indigo, Vistara, they've already announced that they're already offering one-time waivers to passengers who book tickets to fly in and out of Delhi between the 8th and the 11th of September. So if you want to reschedule your ticket because, of course, of the traffic restrictions that will be in place, there will be no applicable charges that will be levied on you. Only, of course, the additional amount that you might have to pay if, the ticket price has gone up. Say, for instance, you bought a ticket for 3,000, but now when you reschedule, it's showing 4,000 rupees. You'll have to pay the difference amount, but there won't be any sort of charges that will be levied on you for rescheduling your ticket. That's a one-time waiver that airlines are offering.